If you have the habit of buying things on impulse, many people will consider that a weakness. But here is how to turn that weakness into a strength. The Power of the Pause by H.O.Z. Imagine for a moment that you are walking through a store on an ordinary afternoon. You are not really searching for anything in particular. You are simply passing the time. Perhaps you are waiting for someone. The lights are bright, the displays are neat, and everything seems arranged with quiet intention. Then, almost without warning, something catches your eye. A pair of shoes gleaming beneath the store lights, polished, attractive. The shoes are placed so perfectly that it feels as if they have been waiting there just for you. You can almost hear the shoes screaming out your name. But you know why you are here. You did not come here to buy shoes. This was not your plan. And yet, something inside you is starting to move. Your heart begins to beat a little faster. Not dramatically, but enough to be noticed. Your mind gently whispers, "Those are nice." Your emotions lean in closer and add something even more persuasive. "You deserve something nice." And just like that, the shoes are in your hands. The cashier, who has been well trained, is smiling politely across the counter, and your credit card has already been tapped or swiped. And all this is happening so smoothly and quickly that by the time you walk out the door with the bag in your hand, the decision already feels like it belonged to another moment, like it belonged to another person. And that's how it happens. The money you worked so hard to earn has quietly slipped away. If that moment feels familiar, then you have already met one of the most powerful forces in modern personal finance: impulse buying. Now, as you listen to this, remember something important. The link to where you can find the practical, easy to use pamphlet, which also comes with a simple workbook section designed to help you track and apply everything we are discussing here, is included in the description. Get a copy, follow along, and thank yourself later. Now, impulse buying is not simply the act of purchasing something unexpectedly. It is the moment when emotion outruns intention, when a feeling gathers enough momentum to become a transaction before wisdom has time to fully enter the conversation. It begins innocently enough. Something attractive captures your attention. Your brain releases a small rush of feel good chemicals. You imagine what it'll feel like to own the object, and suddenly the feeling of wanting it becomes stronger than the quiet voice suggesting that perhaps you do not actually need it. The Bible describes this dynamic with remarkable simplicity. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. That's from Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. Impulse buying is haste. Saving and investing are diligence. Yet, here is where this little pamphlet introduces an idea that may surprise you. Because instead of insisting that you must fight every urge to shop, a strategy that often fails the moment stress, boredom, or excitement enters the picture, it offers a different approach entirely. Rather than treating the urge as an enemy to be defeated, It teaches you how to transform the urge into a tool. Imagine turning temptation into something useful. Imagine allowing the same feeling that once drained your bank account to begin strengthening your bank account instead. That is the quiet secret behind the power of the pause. To understand why this works, it helps to first look more closely at the way impulse buying actually unfolds. When you see something appealing, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical associated with anticipation and pleasure. That small rush encourages you to imagine the satisfaction of owning the item. And in that moment, the feeling begins to carry a sense of urgency, almost as if the happiness connected to the object must be captured immediately before it disappears. If you have ever been scammed by a get rich quick scheme before, you know exactly what I am talking about. But there is a truth most people already know, even if they rarely stop to examine it closely. The feeling does not last, it fades away. You may remember purchases that once seemed irresistible, items that created a brief surge of excitement when they were first brought home, only to become ordinary within a matter of days. What once felt urgent quietly blends into the background of everyday life, no longer thrilling, no longer necessary, just another possession sitting among many others. To add a picture to these words, stop right now and look at your closet. After that, go down to your kitchen, open the drawers, and look at all the pots. Look at the plates, look at the spoons and forks. Finally, look inside your garage. Now, how much stuff can you find in these places that you know in your heart you haven't used since you bought and probably never will? Jesus warned us about the fleeting nature of earthly treasures long before shopping apps and online carts existed. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and rust destroy, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 20. While these words speak to spiritual priorities, they also contain practical wisdom for daily life. They remind us not to chase what fades when we could be building what lasts. And this is precisely where the story begins to change for you. Instead of attempting to suppress the urge to shop, which often creates frustration and eventually leads to giving in anyway, the power of the pause invites you to follow the urge almost completely. If you feel like browsing online, open the website, explore the products, and place everything you like into your shopping cart. And don't feel guilty. Don't resist anything. This is very important. Allow yourself to enjoy the process of looking, the process of comparing, and the process of imagining. Next, and this is what the pause is all about. Here is the moment that changes everything. Here, you pause. Don't click the buy now button. I repeat, don't click the buy now button. Look at the total amount sitting in that shopping cart. Perhaps it's $120. Perhaps it's $240. Perhaps even more. And instead of clicking the button that completes the purchase, you transfer that exact amount into a savings account or an investment account. The excitement of shopping is not taken away from you. The money has not been taken away as well. This is a win win for you. And if you are curious about how such a simple shift can transform the way you handle money, take a moment to visit the link in the description and see the full pamphlet for yourself, because the method you will discover there is simple enough for anyone to follow and powerful enough to reshape an entire financial future. Over time, something remarkable begins to happen inside your mind. The sense of satisfaction that once came from purchasing items slowly begins to attach itself to the act of saving and investing instead. What once felt like deprivation begins to feel like progress, and the habit that once weakened your finances gradually transforms into a habit that strengthens them. Consider the case of Jacob. He enjoys gadgets and typically spends around $300 each month on small electronic items that provide momentary excitement but little lasting value. When he begins practicing the pause method, however, each urge to buy becomes a signal to transfer money into investments instead. Two impulses each month becomes $600 saved. After 1 year, that simple habit creates more than $7,000 in savings, money that could grow, money that could compound and continue building long after the original temptations have been forgotten. Jacob did not become poorer because he liked gadgets. He became wealthier because he learned to pause before buying them. This is the quiet revolution contained in the pages of this pamphlet. The realization that the habit you once believed was weakening you can become the very force that strengthens your financial future. Each time you pause, you strengthen your self control. And each time you redirect an impulse, you train your patience. Each time you transfer money instead of spending it, you reinforce a new identity, not as someone who spends without thinking, but as someone who builds with intention. And one day, when you look at your account after months of practicing this simple discipline, seeing the total that has accumulated from purchases that never happened, you will recognize something extraordinary. Your weakness has become your wealth. In that moment, the lesson becomes unmistakably clear. Every impulse you pause is a brick laid in the foundation of your financial freedom. Because every time you feel the urge to spend without thinking, you are standing at a quiet doorway between two paths. On one side, there is temporary pleasure. On the other side, lasting freedom is waiting for you. And the difference between the two paths is often nothing more than a single powerful decision. This decision is called a pause. If you would like to experience that transformation for yourself, visit the link in the description, get your copy of the pamphlet and workbook, and begin practicing the power of the pause today. Because the next time temptation appears, and it you will have a new choice. Now that you know how to use the workbook in the pages that follow, go ahead, grab your copy, and start building wealth.